I'm going to walk you through resolving this particular problem here. So it's part of the final project, and it's the sales per category question. So basically here, instead of breaking down the sales by store, it gives us sales breakdown by product category. And specifically to test your answers here, it's asking you specifically for the value of total sales for these two things here. And I've got my VMware workstation covering my answers, but we're going to go through that. This is not going to be about a lesson. This is not going to be a lesson about how to use like VI, which I'll be kind of going quickly through. There is, if you need some help and don't want to necessarily learn how to do it from the command line, perhaps this might help you. I'm not going to show it. I've never used it before, but it's just that there's other options for you to edit some of the Python scripts, if you will. Okay, so I will switch into the Udacity training directory. I see I have a code and a data. So if I look at data here, I've got the purchases.txt, and if I look at code, I've got the original mapper and reducers that were covered basically in the video. So I will have to modify the mapper in this case. I'm going to leave the reducer as it is. There's nothing that needs to be changed in this example, but I will do, just call it f1.py. So mapper underscore final one. Pretty simple change to do here. Very simple. All I need to do, based on, these are the fields I have to play with: date, time, store, item, cost, and payment. Well, item is the only one that relatively fits what we're trying to look for here, which is we're trying to look for product categories. So we are going to go down with items because that's how the category is defined, if you will. And basically, you have to look at the raw data to figure that out. So I just need to do that, and that's basically it. So one thing that we need to realize, so we're going to look at HDFS and see what's in there. Okay, it's empty. So what I am going to do is I'm going to create a directory called data. So I've got a data directory on my Linux file system. Now I'm creating a data directory in HDFS. So again, these things are not the same thing. Uh, just a coincidence that I'm calling them the same. I'm just going to call this is my output directory, again in HDFS. I'm just going to call it that. So if I come back and do an ls again, I'll have a data and an out data directory. Okay, so right now I'm here. I'm going to go into the data. So one thing to remember is that we have to put our data into HDFS before we can actually query it. So if I do this, which is basically the commands we've seen, Hadoop fs put my file, and basically this is a directory in HDFS. This is all I need to do. And this is going to basically upload, in quotes, if you will, the purchases.txt into HDFS. And we can double check that by just going like this, ls data. Okay, so our file's uploaded. So the shortcut in the class was that we would do, that was shown in the class, would we do like this. So I'm putting a reference, so we put our mapper. So I call that our reducer. Do our input file. And our output file. Okay, so let's see what happens. I may edit the video just to reduce some of the delay here, but as soon as we see, okay, so I have a problem. File already exists. Okay, so I understand here it was covered in the example here, so I shouldn't have created that directory ahead of time. So what I'm going to do here is just put a 1 at the end. So I mean that was covered in the course to make sure that you didn't pick the if it saw the directory existed or something, it would error out. But basically, I see that it's starting here by the percentages. So I'm just going to wait for it to at least go to a 5 or 10% to make sure that it started off, and then I'll basically edit the video afterwards just to remove the delay. Okay, and here we are. So that we see here the map 100%, reduce 100%. So I'm just going to clear the screen. So if we do like this, ls out data 1. Okay, so we see here we have our output file. So out data 1 part 00000. So in the class we saw that, or in the videos, I'm sorry, we saw that you could do this. I think that's the right number of zeros. To actually look at the data in HDFS. Full of typos. Well, nobody's perfect. Here we go. Okay, so then a cat, concatenate, or cat, or output the file. Okay, so if we look here, we've got values for toys, consumer electronics, toys. Basically, these were my original values. You'll see it matches. And computer electronics right here. Sorry. Okay, you'll see that that matches that, and those were the correct answers. So one thing to remember here is my output file is in HDFS. So if you said wanted to pull it out, wanted to email it, wanted to do something else with it, you have to remember that you basically have to pull that file back out. First off, let's say that we do the same kind of thing here. So basically I've created myself an out data directory on my local file system. And then I go here and then I do this. Get. Basically it's going to go retrieve that file, drop it into my local directory here. So now I'm out of HDFS and I have the file here and I can email it or do some other things with it. So there you go. That's the solution or the way to resolve the first question, first problem. The second problem is going to be more difficult, meaning you're going to have to actually do some Python code to work out some of the logic because it's completely going to change probably more the reducer than anything else. And I'll write up that video. Uh, no promises, but in the next couple of days, kind of thing. Thank you for listening.